Did the Sonic movie bankrupt a VFX studio? Let's discuss right now.
I got hot sauce in my bag, swag.
A quick shout out to none other than Foof of Death, who drew this really awesome Metal Duckles art. This is Metal Duckles in the Sonic Adventure 2 style, and my gosh, it just makes my heart melt. You know, I love Sonic Adventure 2, one of the most impactful games in my life, and this just looks amazing. And by the way, Foof is also the designer of my avatar, and so thank you so much for making this. I really appreciate it. Anyway, hello there beautiful human, my name is RidersDX, welcome to my channel, where today we got another video about the Sonic movie. It feels like it's been a little bit since I made a video on the movie, you know, despite how much stuff has been coming out about it. You know, I've just been really busy with life, unfortunately, although there is something very interesting that came out recently that I did want to talk about, and that is the fact that a studio involved with the Sonic movie redesign has suddenly closed, you know, right before Christmas, so it's actually pretty heartbreaking. And so this news actually comes from TSSC News, so I'm gonna leave a link to the full article in the description box below so you can take a look at it for more details. But here's a summary of what they reported on. Basically, an animation studio that had a big part in designing the Sonic movie redesign has suddenly shut down, and so the studio is named the Vancouver arm of MPC. According to TSSC News, it's a visual FX studio that's part of a set of sister studios in several other cities, and it shut down without warning on Wednesday, 2 weeks before the end of the holidays, according to Cartoon Brew. The website reports that the studio played a significant role in the recent redesign of Sonic in the upcoming film. So obviously it sucks to kind of like lose your job basically right before the holidays. Like, come on, that's gotta be one of the most stressful things in the world. But what's also really interesting is that there are some reports of mistreatment or really bad working conditions during the studio, and so these details aren't confirmed. I'm just gonna say that from the very front, so don't go thinking that this is absolutely concrete information, but nonetheless, it's something that I did want to talk about. So here's what TSSC had to say. With the sudden shutdown, sordid details are coming out about working conditions ahead of the closure. A Reddit post alleged to be from an unidentified laid-off employee claims said employee and other now unemployed team members worked extreme hours wrapping 2 infamous projects in the last couple of months. The Sonic movie was not mentioned by name and relation, and some have speculated at least one of the projects may be the upcoming theatrical release of Cats. MPC has also been tied to this year's release of The Lion King. None of these titles are mentioned by name either. Further, TSSC cannot confirm the authenticity of the poster's identity, who wrote under the pseudonym Captain Krobin. What's also really interesting though is that there's a snippet from that Reddit post, which by the way has been taken down, and so that just kind of seems a little bit fishy. I don't know if it means it's more likely to be true or not, but here's what the post said, at least a snippet of it that TSSC was able to capture. We were working with no days off for weeks straight, with plenty of 17 plus shifts thrown in the mix, sometimes 3 or 4 in a row though. Very rarely were people doing less than 10 hours in a day. If you wanted to leave after your 8 hours, you had to ask for permission to go home. Didn't want to work OT at the weekend, you had to give a satisfactory reason as to why you couldn't do it, or they'd label it an unauthorized absence. I can't speak for everyone, but I obliged with the request because I felt if I didn't, I'd be quickly replaced by someone who was willing to do the hours, be that for the experience or IMDb credit or whatever. That happened to 2 or 3 people while I was there. So what makes this really interesting is the fact that this isn't the first that we've heard of bad working conditions with the movie redesign. Now granted, there's also a bunch of other movies that this animation studio was involved in, such as The Lion King and apparently Detective Pikachu, but so there's no correlation with like one movie in particular, but it wouldn't be very hard to believe that the Sonic movie caused some intense stress in terms of like, okay, we designed this whole Sonic and had him for most of the movie, but now we have to redesign him and like reshoot scenes and such, and so it would not be a surprise that the Sonic movie contributed to this event. A lot of eyes were on Tyson Hess, who led the redesign, to see if he was going to say anything about it, and Tyson did say it, but he didn't really give much insight as to the actual working conditions and what led to the closure of it. Truly gutted to hear of the layoffs at MPC Vancouver. On top of the incredible work bringing movie Sonic to life, these people were behind everything from Pikachu to Godzilla. It's been such a rough couple years for Vancouver VFX, games and animation. They all deserve more. And so Tyson said that they've been struggling for a few years actually, and so maybe that's more of a reason as to why they have suddenly closed, although I'm not quick to kind of make that judgment judgment yet. You know, I recall that one Twitter post from Jeff Fowler who said that like no VFX artists were harmed in the making of this movie, and so I don't know. I feel like Paramount is trying to paint this narrative that like this was a completely like stable working condition and that everyone was fine with like the increased amount of workload in terms of redesigning Sonic and such. And the reason that I say that is because if you recall, there was this interview one time that came out from an Argentina Sonic fan site, and it basically talked about the whole experience in redesigning Sonic in not the most flattering way possible. And there were multiple news outlets that picked up on this, including the Tails channel. I remember the Tails channel getting a formal complaint in terms of their coverage of the news, and so they had to take down the video that talked about it. And so this isn't the first instance of, you know, us hearing about conditions not really being that ideal or just hearing a kind of shady details of the production of the movie. And so whether or not the movie had a role in the shutdown of the studio, we really don't know. However, I really wouldn't put it past like Paramount in saying that like maybe the studio's resources were exhausted so much to the point that they had to shut down. Now, I really don't want you all to just think outright that this is the truth. We really don't know. I will say that there's a lot of signs that do point to it, but we really don't have much more concrete information beyond that. And so I would just say keep an open eye out for anything that comes in terms of like further developments in the story. You know, don't go attacking anyone about this yet. You know, life happens. You know, studios do shut down for reasonable reasons as well. You know, we really don't know for sure, you know. Obviously, there's so much going on behind the scenes that we probably will never hear about unless it's like 10 and 20 years down the line when like no one really cares anymore and the big studio heads aren't trying to censor anyone, but we really don't know. So all I can say is I really hope that the people that were at VFX Studios do find a way to get through the holidays and enjoy them and also find work shortly afterwards, because man, the entertainment industry can just be so brutal sometimes, and I just feel really bad for the people that have to go back home and not have a job when they come out the holidays. That's just so heartbreaking, and I really am hoping for the best. I really hope that these people are doing okay and that they're not too bummed by the recent layoff, because man, so many people are definitely gonna be affected by this. But that's pretty much everything I had to say for today's video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about this? Do you think the closure of the studio has a lot to do with the Sonic movie, or do you think it's a combination of a lot of different things besides the Sonic movie? Now, do you think Paramount had any hand in the closure of the studio? Let me know why or why not in the comment section below. Either way, the movie's still looking really good and I'm really looking forward to seeing it regardless, but I just really hope that the people behind this movie do get the credit they deserve and do get the actual like funds needed to continue pursuing their passion. But okay, that's everything. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe to my channel if you like videos like these, want to see more in the future, follow me on Twitter or Twitch, and join my Discord server, the Spongy Garden. Special shout out to Reese Gaming, Team Rival Sonic Gamer, and Glitched Alfred. These are my patrons/YouTube members. If you'd like to become a patron or YouTube member, get access to a whole bunch of different perks, then please check out the links in the description box below. But alright, this is Riders, riding out.